Here we go. Here we go. Another day of talking about this dysfunctional football team. I'm embarrassed to have this logo behind me right here. Embarrassed. I hate what this team puts me through, man. I really hate what this team puts me through. Waiting for you guys to hop in here, man, because I want to drill this damn football team with you guys because they deserve it. So, seeing you guys in the chat here. Appreciate it. Cornelius, Joe, Majin, thank you for joining. Yes, we are talking Chicago Bears football, where dysfunction happens. Okay, let me rant here for about a minute or so, and then trust me, I'm going to get to the questions here. You guys ask all the questions you want. I'm going to answer hopefully every single one of them. Super chat if you want your question answered for sure. But yeah, let's just start with this. We don't deserve this. The question is, when will it end? That's the question. All right. I talked about this in my recent video. Whoever has the Chicago Bears voodoo doll, please just stop. Please stop playing games. Like, we're begging you at this point. It's embarrassing. Because what happened in the past is the past. But when you get a number one overall pick quarterback for a franchise that's starved for one, when you have a boatload of draft picks, when you had all these assets and talent on the football field, you finally thought that there was a sliver of hope that it would finally go right. Nobody was expecting Super Bowl. Nobody was even expecting playoffs. It'd be nice, but we weren't expecting it. All we wanted was competence. Just get a little bit better. Don't look like an absolute joke. But no, evidently that's too much to ask either. It started off good, right? 4-2. And what happened? Basically, you couldn't defend a Hail Mary. And if they did defend it, they would have gone to 5-2 with 2 winnable games after that to go to 7-2 before you play the Packers this week. But no, what happens? The bottom falls out because you couldn't defend a Hail Mary, and now we haven't scored a touchdown in like 20-plus drives. Holy cow. I know there's other franchises that are going through things, but being a Bears fan really tests your patience because this is a garbage organization. It is the worst ownership in the NFL. Show me an ownership group that's worse than the McCaskies. I'm sorry, you just won't find one. All right? We have one of, if not the worst coach in football. Matt Eberflus is garbage. I'm sorry, he's a loser head coach. He should be a defensive coordinator. He is not meant to be a head coach in this league. Every time you hear him, I swear my ears hurt because it's just the same garbage coach speak. I swear, I'm not trying to defend past coaches, but Matt Nagy was never this bad at stuff like this. Previous coaches weren't this bad. Matt Eberflus, hot garbage. Oh, there will be changes, adjustments being made. We're looking at everything. I'm not at this point in the process. I'm going to look at everything. I'm going to disclose, those things a little bit late. Like, shut up. Please shut up. It's so bad. It's so bad with this guy. And Ryan Poles, you deserve just as much blame for hiring him and then doubling down and keeping Matt Eberflus. Holy cow, Ryan Poles. How do you make the same mistake twice? You hired the man, fine. You made a mistake. How do you decide to keep him? You should have brought in a new regime with a new quarterback. You finally had a chance to do it right, and you messed up as well. And don't even get me started on Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron just forgot how to play, how to call plays. It's not the same guy that helped Geno Smith win Comeback Player of the Year. He's just not. I'm sorry. This is where I question, does somebody have a voodoo doll? Is there a black cat going around? Why does everything that the Bears touch go to absolute garbage? Shane Waldron comes to Chicago, can't call plays. Can't call plays. Ryan Poles, a coveted general manager, coming from the Chiefs, come to Chicago, he's trash. Can't develop an offensive line, can't build one. It's been 3 seasons now. Hired a terrible head coach. Yes, low testosterone Eberflus. He's not a leader of men. Totally agree. So why does that happen? Everything that comes to the Chicago Bears goes to garbage. And now it's looking like the most important player in your franchise's history, potentially, in Caleb Williams, could be headed down that direction. That is why it is a state of emergency. We're not dumb here. Bears fans aren't dumb. We're not saying fire everybody every time there's a loss. No, you're not saying that. We're saying fire everybody at this point because there is a chance that you could be screwing up your most important asset in Bears history in Caleb Williams. If he regresses and you ruin him, oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say. And for the people saying, like, Faiz, you got to stop defending Caleb. Look, Caleb will have the rest of his career to get criticized. The kid's a rookie. Can we at least give him this season? He's at the bottom of the totem pole. I know he hasn't been playing well, but sorry, I can't blame Caleb before I blame Poles, Eberflus, Shane Waldron, the McCaskies. I'm sorry, I just can't. There's a great point brought up here by Cornelius. Darnell Mooney is playing like a top 20 wide receiver when he leaves the Bears with the Falcons. Absolutely right. Everything that touches the Bears, garbage, complete garbage. And then when you leave the Bears, you're a good player again. That is the definition of dysfunction. A dysfunctional organization where you can take a talented player, coach, person, and you bring him to your team, and by virtue of the surroundings, the garbage, trash surroundings, that thing turns into trash. Throw away the whole team. Mooney wasn't trash, Faiz. He wasn't trash. I never said it. I said in Chicago he couldn't do much. He had a 1,000-yard season, but then, really just went left after that. So that's the frustrating part here, is that we're not calling for people to be fired after every loss. It's the fact that Caleb Williams is at stake here. You can't mess up this kid. All right? And here's the other thing too. I know we're not going to find our head coach midseason. All right? It's not like you fire Eberflus and all of a sudden the answer to your problems is on the coaching staff. He's not. This whole coaching staff is trash. But what firing him does is hold him accountable. That is what good organizations do. Not accept mediocrity, not accept dysfunctionalness, not accept anything that's not competence. Right? Hey, you do a bad job, I got to fire you. I'm going to be the first to say, if I'm doing a bad job, let me know. Maybe you can give me a chance, but if that doesn't happen, fire me. Eberflus had a chance. It's not his first season. Multiple seasons now. Got to go. Got to go. All right, let's address this. Evie Warrior. Caleb got trashed by all in the all-22. He missed so many open reads. You can't blame everyone except Caleb. Listen to me, guys. I am not blaming everybody except Caleb. Caleb deserves blame for sure. But he is at the bottom of that totem pole of blame. That's what I'm saying to you guys. All right? He's at the very bottom. Yes, he's not playing football. But guess what? Part of that is the coaching being bad, the receivers not getting open, the play calling being terrible so the receivers can't get open, and also the coaching, which is basically telling Caleb, hey, don't make mistakes, so now he's hesitant. Also, the offensive line is garbage, so he doesn't have time. So, Caleb, I'm telling you, well, we will have plenty of time in his career to criticize Caleb Williams. Starting literally year 2. Just can we please have a little bit of leeway in year 1, especially when there are so many other glaring problems. If the coaching was good, if the O-line was good, and Caleb was playing like shit, I would come here and tell you Caleb is playing terrible, and it's his fault mainly. I'd put the blame right on him, but that is not the case. Not the case. Ooh. Fired up here, people. Let's see. Let's answer some questions, all right? Super chat if you want your question answered right away. All right. And by the way, the talk about Caleb Williams getting benched, oh my goodness. That is the worst solution ever. I'm sorry. He needs to play. All right. He's the only thing that is making these games worth watching, like his potential development. All right, guys, let's answer some questions here. Super chat if you want your question answered right away. Lindsay Gardner, should we ever get our hopes up again with this ownership in charge? I don't understand. Is this just about money? Great question. I have said this before, and I'll say it again. I would not support this football team monetarily right now, meaning I would not buy tickets to go to the game or buy merchandise or anything like that. I should take out this logo from the back. And the reason I say that is because, you know, the saying, right? You got to hit them where it hurts, and that's their pockets. And so that's what I would do. But it's easy to say, oh, just stop watching them. No, they deserve the blame. I want them to feel uncomfortable. I want criticism. I want the reporters to ask tough questions. I want the fans and media to say we deserve better and expect better. Just walking away from the situation isn't going to hold them accountable. But yes, I would say not support them monetarily. Should we ever get our hopes up? Look, ownership is the one thing you can't really change because you can't fire them. They would have to sell the football team. Since selling the football team is, again, something we can't control as much or isn't as easy, I would just say it is more so the people, right? It does start at the top here, but the only thing that you can control after that, after the ownership, is the general manager and the coach. I'll say this, man. I'm not trying to defend the McCaskies at all, but Ryan Poles was given full control of this football team from everything I've read. I know some people speculate that Flus was forced onto him. I don't think so. And if that was the case, he would have let Flus go this past offseason. He didn't. He doubled down. That tells me Flus is this guy. Ryan Poles was given full control of this football team when he was hired. Okay? So let's just focus on there for a second. He's had 3 seasons now to build and cultivate this football team. He hired Matt Eberflus. That was a big mistake. He is the one who has not developed the offensive line. Huge mistake, or gotten a good offensive line. So just those 2 things. Think about that for a second. Yes, I know you got the receivers, all that, yeah, but you build a team inside out, not outside in. If you give me the Detroit Lions offensive line, but worse weapons, I'll take that over what we have now. Think about this for a second, okay? If we fix the offensive line, right? Let's say next week, magically, we've got the Lions offensive line or the Eagles offensive line. And all of a sudden, you've got Sean McVay on your sidelines or Matt LaFleur. I'm pretty sure we're going to see improvement. I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing much better Caleb Williams. So, yes, I know the McCaskies are a big part of this, but Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, and Shane Waldron should carry the majority of the blame here. As long as the McCaskies have let them do what they are supposed to do and stayed out the way, I'm putting the blame more on those guys. Optimus Prime, Principus, we need to give Ryan Poles some smoke too. I'm giving him all the smoke. All the smoke. What a garbage job by Ryan Poles with this offensive line. What an absolutely garbage job by him. Josh David DeVera, shout out to those who didn't make Fields the scapegoat and knew this organization is completely dysfunctional. It is. Justin Fields also was a victim of this. Now, I will tell you this. Just, again, two things can both be true. Caleb Williams having a higher upside and potential than Justin Fields is also true, but Justin Fields being failed by this organization is also true. Look, Justin Fields is with a great organization with a great offensive line. He's on the bench right now. So I don't want to go back to the Caleb versus Justin argument. He is just another victim of it, but we still made the right call with Caleb over Justin. Marvin Johnson, give me why do we keep saying Flus had 3 years? The first 2 years was a wash. He had no talent, which everybody agreed, but yet they keep holding him to the 2 years without much talent. Here's the thing, though. All right, Marvin, here's the thing you need to understand. Matt Eberflus, it's actually not about the wins and losses as much as it is about the fact that this man has absolutely no hold on his football team. The culture sucks. It's terrible. All right? Even in wins, man, if you guys ever seen those videos the Bears account posts after wins, like Matt Eberflus is so uninspiring. Like somebody said it perfectly. He's a beta. He's so uninspiring. And he's not a leader of men. That's the thing. It's not about the wins and losses. If we saw, hey, give this guy a talented football team, he can take you places, that'd be different. You look at Dan Campbell and you look at Matt Eberflus, you can't tell me that's like night and day there, man. One team has a coach that the players would literally run through a brick wall for. The other team has a coach that players would literally run away from. So, yeah, that's why we get on Matt Eberflus. Philip Dalmar, season ticket holder should still go to the game. Somebody needs to boo. Yeah, that's the best part about it, right? You gotta let them know with our voices as well, booing them. So I agree with that. Steve Reynolds, sick of these -2 yard screen passes on third down. Oh my God. I'm so sick of the screen passes, man. Now, I will tell you, Keenan Allen whiffed a block on that DJ Moore screen that I think you're probably referring to. But my goodness, folks, that's just an example of players not buying in because nobody wants to block, right? We keep calling the same garbage plays all over again. I'm telling you, I don't recognize this Shane Waldron. Even Seahawks fans are probably like, what the heck? Like, I know this guy was bad, but this is terrible. Shane Waldron's awful. I think he was just basically hiding behind Pete Carroll, really, and maybe, some of Pete Carroll's greatness rubbed off on him because here in Chicago, he can't do anything. Can't do trash. Bear down, Mike. Wouldn't Kingsbury or Riley be a better choice for head coach than Johnson? Do we need to go for another first-time head coach? That's a great point. It's a really good point because all we've done is hire first-time head coaches, right? Going back to Nagy and obviously now with Flus. But then we did hire John Fox, who was a veteran head coach, and I hated that hire right when it happened. So there's no we definitely have to hire a coach with experience. I don't know if that's the answer because you got the Matt LaFleur's of the world, the Sean McVays of the world, the Kyle Shanahans of the world, who all got an opportunity as a new first-time head coach, and they're all elite. So I just think it's about finding the right guy. I'm sold on Ben Johnson, whether it's him or somebody else, but I'm just saying it's just getting the right guy. It's a tricky situation. That's why Ryan Poles gets paid the big bucks because he's the one who's supposed to be finding these people. Pat the diabetic, don't give the time excuse, Faiz. You said he had the best roster for a number one pick. He should be better, right? Absolutely. Caleb Williams should definitely be better. I still don't think he is more to blame for what's happened these past couple of games than the coaches and the GM. I just don't. Sorry. Like, Caleb probably has the yips right now, whatever the case may be. Not more blame than Waldron. Not more blame than Eberflus. No. Matt Eberflus legitimately, I think, is one of the worst head coaches I say head coaches because I think he is a solid defensive coordinator, but I legitimately think he's one of the worst head coaches in professional sports because I just don't think he commands any sort of leadership from any player, any other coach. Complete beta. Complete. All right. Super chat if you want your question answered right away. Anthony Wicker, how much blame do you put on Poles for drafting a wide receiver and punter over an offensive line? Alter Fanashi would have been great on this line right now. I blame Ryan Poles so much for that. That is his biggest mistake. More of a mistake than drafting Velus Jones Jr., more of a mistake than trading for Chase Claypool. His biggest mistake in his 3 years in Chicago has been not getting a good offensive line. I was just listening to Bill Belichick. I think it was on the Pat McAfee show or some other podcast, and he basically said, talking about the Bears' struggles, is they have all these weapons, these flashy toys and all that, but they don't have a good offensive line. The Detroit Lions built it inside out, not outside in, and I totally agree with that. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite in this situation. I loved when we brought in DJ Moore and Keenan Allen and drafted Rome Odunze. I was very happy with that, but I should have, in hindsight, said, look, all these weapons, it's not going to be worth it if we're not getting an upgrade on the offensive line. And what has Ryan Poles done in his regime in Chicago thus far? The only guy he drafted as a top pick was Darnell Wright. Right? So, like, Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, they're okay. There's nothing elite about this. So, the negligence, as a former offensive lineman, the negligence by Ryan Poles to not develop and have a proper offensive line is the biggest mistake. And I think literally it's so bad that any quarterback you put in Chicago would struggle because we have the worst offensive line in football. So think about that for a second. Worst offensive line in football, worst coach in football. Playing like the worst team in football, and you have the worst offense in football. Like, how is anybody supposed to succeed in that, let alone Caleb Williams? Saying. Bear down might bring Kingsbury or Riley to be the next head coach. Caleb gets his confidence back. Play callers that know how to use his strengths. Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury would have been great. Ben Johnson's a good one, so I agree with that. Samuel Jones, I don't see Caleb developing with this coaching staff until something changes. He'll just end up being another Mitch. I hope the organization fixes it. I agree, man. This is the worst part, or one of the worst parts about this, is this year feels like a wash now. And I knew that for to be the case when we brought back Eberflus. That was the worst mistake, man. Go back and look at my videos. I hated that decision. Now this year's wasted. You didn't get the timeline right. You could have hired a coach that matched up with Caleb. Now Caleb's going to go through the same cycle as Justin and Mitch, which is having a new head coach in his second year that didn't draft him and a new regime. Damn it, Ryan Poles. You could have gotten it right. Oh, damn you, Ryan Poles. Scott Hopkins, come on, Faiz. Ownership can't take a personality that's bigger than the Bears brand. At this point, a hamster is bigger than their brand. It's sickening. Yeah, ownership definitely plays a big part in this. But I'm telling you, if all I'm saying is if ownership and the McCaskies hired Poles and said, look, just build a good football team, we'll stay out the way, I'm putting more of the blame on Poles. Not saying I'm not blaming the McCaskies, just put more of it on Poles, who hired Flus, who hired Waldron. Luke Getsy over Shane Waldron, which is wild. The Bears always regress at upgrade. Luke Getsy just got fired by the Raiders, and somehow he would be an upgrade at this point. Matt Nagy would be an upgrade over Matt Eberflus, and Patrick Mahomes is having his worst year statistically. I know the Chiefs are obviously undefeated, but it's so bad at this point, man. Please, I'm begging you, whoever has the voodoo doll, please stop playing games. Let the Bears have some competence for once. Please, we've gone through enough suffering. I'm literally begging you over here. It is so damn frustrating. Ross Peters, why do people talk about the Bears' proud history? We haven't had great players, but we're only during the 40, 63, and 85. Exactly. What is this history tradition? Just because we were grandfathered in back when everybody wasn't even alive. Everybody in this chat probably wasn't even alive when the Bears obviously were founded and whatnot. Like, bro, what have you done for me lately? Oh my God. Scott, what do you think will be the final score against Green Bay? Well, honestly, I hope it's really bad because maybe history will be made and the Bears will fire Eberflus. So I'm going to say just because the defense somehow always holds the opponent, to a decent score, I'll say, and I don't even want to make my prediction video at this point. You know it's going to be a loss. 30-6. How about that? 2 field goals? Give the Bears a little bit more. That's improvement right from last week. 2 field goals. Terrible. Steve Reynolds, all the Bears do cling to 85. I swear to God. That's all they do. I'm so tired of hearing about the 85 Bears. Move the heck on. Bears Game Podcast. Why do we keep hiring garbage coaches decade after decade? They're afraid of strong leaders. 1,000% agree. John Fox, garbage. Matt Nagy, garbage. Matt Eberflus, garbage. We haven't had a good coach since Lovie Smith, and we fired him after he went 10-6. Scott Hopkins, Flus, defensive trashman. Beta, trash, awful. Ryan Poles will be fired next year. Ryan Poles on the hot seat too, man. Sorry. You are not getting out of this if you are the one that kept Flus around, doubled down on him, and didn't get a good offensive line. Sorry. Bears Game Podcast. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl with the killer offensive line. Nick came here and said, I don't have time. Hello. Yep. Nick Foles. Everybody that comes to Chicago looks mediocre. Frank Corez, the monkeys that escaped from the lab in the Carolinas would probably be better at running the Bears franchise. I agree. Oh, man. At this point, you could pluck a fan out, a random Bears fan. They'll do a better job than Poles and Eberflus have. It's bad. MC Season, do you think this is an ego thing for Ryan Poles, or do you think he actually still believes in Matt? That's a good question. I think it's an ego thing because to me, he definitely kept him around the second time around this past offseason because of his ego. There is no way Ryan Poles thought he couldn't. There's no way we couldn't find a better guy out there. It's all because if he would have let go of Flus, that would have admitted that he made a mistake with Flus. So he decided to keep him, use continuity as an excuse, yada, yada, whatever the case may be. He just didn't want to admit he made a mistake. The sign of a good leader and a good GM is when you make a mistake, you accept it and you move forward. Fail fast and get it done with. Ryan Poles didn't do that. He didn't. Yes, Matt Nagy looked better than these clowns. Bears Game Podcast. Matt Nagy took us to a playoff game. We're not sniffing the playoffs. So, yeah, he was. He was better. Cornelius Pryor, we made the Super Bowl in 06. 06 has also been a very long time. Think about that. So, I'm talking about lately, as in something in the last 10 years. Can you give me something that's not over 2 decades old? 42-3, 48-3. Yeah, sounds about right. Hire Mike Ditka. Oh, it was all good just a few weeks ago. Think about this. If we just defended a Hail Mary, you go to 5-2. 2 winnable games after that. The morale of your team is still there. Maybe they win those games. You move to 7-2 before the division games. But you know what? I'm going to go here. I'm going to tell you that I'm happy that this is happening. I am happy that this is happening because, again, we need to fire these clowns. We need to fire these clowns in Eberflus and Waldron because they are terrible. The worst thing that would have happened is we go like 9-8, and Ryan Pohl's like, oh, we got progress. Went from 7-10 to 9-8, so I got to keep Flus around, and Flus is back in for another season. Nope. I don't want to win another football game the rest of the season if it means Flus and Waldron are gone, and even Poles maybe. You tell me 9-8, or what are we right now? 5 wins on the year, 9-8, or 5-12. I'll go 5-12. No, sorry, we're 4 wins on the year. What am I saying? I'll go 4-13 over 9-8. I don't want to win another football game because I don't want these losers to get another W. And I'm talking about the coaches, not the players. So we play the division next 3 games, people. We play the Packers, the Lions, and the Vikings. Here is what's going to happen. Buckle up, all right? We are going to get blown out by 30-plus points in each of those games. And I hope that happens. And it feels so sickening to say that as a Bears fan, but you have to look at the bigger picture, right? I hope we get blown out because at this point you have already accepted what this football team is. You get blown out by 30-plus points every single week by these division opponents the next 3 weeks. And then you just got to see Matt Eberflus come out with this scum face and just be like, well, we're looking at everything, it's a process. We'll see, blah, 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 blah. Like, and I want the embarrassment on these coaches' faces. I want to see the embarrassment on their faces. Do we even have if we have a national TV game for one of these next 3 games? Oh my God, that would be incredible. Yeah, the Caleb thing is the only thing that is making me so sad. Bear down, Mike, if that's the case, Caleb before he gets a huge injury, because honestly speaking, Caleb Williams, his health is paramount, obviously, and you don't want anything to happen to him. But this is the part about it, which is so tricky, is that this was supposed to be Caleb's development year, and it's going to be a complete wash. Complete wash. MC Season, here's a follow-up on the Eagle question. Do you think Flus hasn't made any OC changes because he's playing too much politics and doesn't want to hurt people's feelings and split this team? I think, I'll be very honest with you, and I'm not trying to be mean. I think that Matt Eberflus isn't firing anybody because he doesn't have the you-know-what to fire anybody. And he's too scared. Just like with the rest of his coaching, he's too scared. Too much of a beta to fire anybody. So he's not going to do it till after the season. Oh my God, Monday Night Football against the Vikings and then a Thursday Night Football game. Oh my goodness. National TV. It is a dire situation. Caleb Williams, I am so sorry that you're having to deal with this. But I'll tell you this much too about Caleb Williams, man. Caleb Williams, you want all the endorsements, you want all the top, dollars, you want all the money, you want all these things. This is just the reality of the situation. For Caleb Williams, you got to overcome garbage around you. That's it. Michael Jordan won 6 championships with Jerry Reinsdorf as his owner. If Caleb is that guy, that's what he has to do. I'm not expecting it. I'm just telling you, like, for Caleb Williams, if Caleb is listening, he probably isn't, obviously. But if Caleb is listening, Caleb, you want to succeed. You want the contracts. You want the endorsements. You want the top dollars. You got to just find a way. Sorry, buddy. It's Chicago. This is what it is. It's been dysfunction my whole life. Otherwise, your career is going to go down the drain because these coaches will make sure of it. So yeah, this season went left real quick, guys. Did it not? Oh, look at this one. Also use wine tasting. I bet 600 on the Packers money line to beat the Bears minus 300. Packers money line, but minus 300 is obviously a lot of juice. Great bet, by the way. Packers spread might feed families this week. What is it? 6.5? I think that's what I saw it at. Let me just make sure here. Week 11. Packers. Oh, it's -6. I don't know how it's getting bet down. Packers -6 might feed families, people. That might be the lock of the century. If the Packers don't blow this damn football team out, I don't know what to say. So, yes, you want free money, bet the Packers money line, and then you want a little bit more money, bet the Packers spread. I'm supposed to be making a Bears-Packers game preview video, and I don't even want to do that. So what's the point? We're going to lose. But I will be here every single week, and I'll make sure of it every single week so I can criticize these damn coaches and this organization. I'm going to be here every single week, not getting off the hook that easy. Sorry. I'm going to be here every single week. Yep, just bet against the Bears the rest of the season. Easy money. So I'll leave you guys with that, man. Lock of the week, bet the Packers money line, swallowing all that juice. But more importantly, bet the Packers spread if you want to make some money. I got to get going, man. Let me know what you guys, if you guys enjoyed that. I'll definitely do more live streams here because who doesn't want to pile on this organization? Appreciate you guys.